The internet is one of the most extraordinary things ever created by humans. It connects people all around the world in an instant and provides access to virtually any information anyone could ever want. And yet most people don't know how it works or who invented it. When we talk about the internet, we usually focus on websites, apps, and other user-facing aspects. But there's a lot more to this vast digital network that most people aren't aware of. So today, we're going to look at the brain behind the internet and explore what it would take to replace it. When Vint Cerf was in high school, he was already thinking about computers. He started building them when he was just 12 years old. And in college, he worked part-time at a computer center. There, he got to know another computer enthusiast named Bob Kahn. Together, they developed a package routing architecture called the Transmission Control Program, better known as TCP/IP, which was a critical component of the first internet. The pair were awarded the National Medal of Technology in 1997 for their pioneering work on internet protocols, and in 2004, they received the prestigious Turing Award. It's often referred to as the Nobel Prize of Computing. But it wasn't just Cerf and Kahn who were instrumental in creating the internet. Many other brilliant minds contributed to its development. Today we're going to tell you about a few of them. You may have heard of Tim Berners-Lee. He is credited with inventing the World Wide Web, a global system of interconnected documents and other resources linked by hypertext. In 1989, while working at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, Berners-Lee wrote the first web browser and the first web server. And he also proposed the use of uniform resource locators, URLs, and hypertext transfer protocol HTTP, which are still used today. J.C.R. Licklider was a computer scientist who had the vision of a global network of computers that would allow people to share information and resources. In the early 1960s, he led the development of the computer network for the ARPANET, which later became the Internet. Licklider also coined the term, "the network is the computer." This means that the Internet is not just a collection of computers connected by wires, but rather a single large computer that spans the globe. Another important contributor to the Internet is Robert Metcalfe. He is best known for inventing Ethernet, a networking technology that allows computers to communicate with each other over a cable. Metcalfe also predicted the Internet's exponential growth, famously stating, "The network is only as valuable as the people on the other end of it." He also said something else that turned out to be true. He said that the Internet will be a global network connecting billions of people worldwide, which of course it is today. As the Internet grew, it became more and more complex. Managing such a vast network of computers and data became a huge challenge. That's where Danny Cohen came in. In the early 1980s, he developed the first version of the domain name system, DNS, which translates human-friendly domain names like Google.com into IP addresses that computers can understand. Cohen's work allowed the Internet to grow exponentially, as well as support things like email and websites, none of which existed before the DNS. And finally, there's Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the founders of Google, who invented a new way to search the Internet that relied on the number of links pointing to a website as a measure of its importance. This invention revolutionized the way people find information online. All these people, and many others who we didn't mention here, contributed to the creation of the Internet as we know it today. But it wasn't easy. There were many obstacles that had to be overcome. One of the biggest challenges was getting people to accept the idea of a global network of computers. At first, many experts thought it was a crazy idea that would never work. They could unsee the point of connecting computers all around the world, and they were worried that it would be too expensive and too complicated to build. Another challenge was developing the technologies needed to make the Internet work. For example, how could computers located all around the world communicate with each other? How could data be sent over the Internet securely? And how could people access information easily? All of these questions had to be answered before the Internet could become a reality. Despite all the challenges, the people who believed in the Internet's potential refused to give up. They worked tirelessly to make it happen, and their hard work paid off. Today, the Internet is used by billions of people all around the world. It has revolutionized the way we live, work, and play. So now that we know how the Internet was created, let's see what it would take to replace it. First of all, you need to understand that the Internet isn't just one thing. It's actually made up of several different layers. The bottom layer is the physical infrastructure. This includes all the wires, cables, and routers that connect the computers all around the world. Above that is the Internet Protocol, or IP. IP is what allows computers to communicate with each other and send data back and forth. On top of IP is the domain name system, or DNS. As we mentioned earlier, DNS allows people to access websites by using human-readable domain names instead of having to remember long strings of numbers, IP addresses. So if we want to replace the internet, we need to replace all three of these things. The physical infrastructure would be difficult to replace, since it is spread all over the world and connects everything from homes and offices to servers and routers. It would take a Herculean effort to remove all of the existing infrastructure and replace it with something new. And even then, there's no guarantee that the new infrastructure would be any better. Replacing IP would be even more challenging. Since it's the foundation of the internet, everything else relies on IP, including DNS. If we could somehow replace IP with something new, it would break the internet as we know it and cause chaos around the world. Finally, replacing DNS wouldn't be impossible, but it would be very disruptive. DNS is what allows us to access websites by using easy-to-remember domain names. If we replaced DNS with something else, it would be very difficult for people to find the websites they want to visit. Of course, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some ways that the internet could be improved. For example, we could make it faster, more secure, and more reliable. We could also make it easier to use and more accessible to people in developing countries. However, making these improvements would require cooperation from all the stakeholders involved in running the internet, including governments, businesses, and individuals. It would also require a lot of money and time. It's worth noting that the internet has changed the world in many ways. It's connected people from all over the world, giving them access to information and resources. It's also created new opportunities for businesses and governments. However, the internet also has its downsides. For example, it's often used to spread fake news and hate speech. It's also been used to commit crimes like identity theft and fraud. Additionally, the internet can be addictive, and many people spend too much time on it. Despite these challenges, the internet has brought more good than bad into our lives. It's made the world a smaller place and given us access to information and resources that we never had before. It's also created new opportunities for people and businesses all over the world. So while we shouldn't be naive about the dangers of the internet, we should also remember all the good it's done. If we're able to address its shortcomings and build on its strengths, the internet can continue to be a force for good in our lives. And who knows, maybe one day it will even be better than it is today. What do you think? Would you change anything about the internet? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tech insights. Thanks for watching.